The line in the stars, the galaxy, had many rules, but none were spoken with more fear than the line of Earth. Long ago, after the last great galactic war, humans had sent a message to every empire, every council, and every wandering fleet. The message was simple. It was a warning. Do not cross this line. Beyond it lies Earth. If you defy this line, you trigger our vengeance. Most species laughed when they first heard it. They thought humans were too small, too new to the stars. They had joined the galaxy late. And they were not the strongest, not the fastest, not the most advanced, but they were stubborn and they remembered every scar. The line was invisible, drawn across a cluster of stars near the Sol system, marked only by human beacons, tall black towers floating in the void. Each beacon carried the same words, carved into every known language. This is the boundary of Earth. Do not trespass for centuries. No empire dared to test it, not even the strongest fleets. Even predator races who had once eaten entire worlds avoided that border. They remembered whispers, tales of battles where human ships had fought like demons. They remembered the times when humans had chosen to burn themselves just to take their enemies with them. But memory fades now. In the dark edges of the Orion Arm, a restless empire began to grow bold. It was called the Thurian Dominion, proud, cruel, and hungry for expansion. Their fleets had swallowed dozens of weaker species. Their warlords laughed at old stories. They said humans were just ghosts hiding behind fear. Commander Varen, a Thurian officer, stood on the bridge of his battleship. The stars shone cold on the screens, and ahead, the beacon of Earth glowed like a lonely warning flame. "Look at it," Varen sneered. "An empty tower, floating metal. Do you fear this, Captain?" The captain, younger and cautious, shifted uneasily. "Commander, the archives say no one crosses these markers. Those who did never returned." Varen's laugh was sharp, cruel. "Fairy tales spread by weaklings. Humans are nothing now. Their fleets are rust, their warriors dust. We will prove the galaxy wrong." The crew was silent. The stars around them silent too, as if even the void waited. Varen raised his hand. "Take us forward past the beacon." The engines roared. The ship moved closer. Each meter crossed centuries of fear. On Earth, deep under mountains of steel, an old system awoke. Red lights pulsed in command bunkers buried for generations. Screens lit up with words no human had seen in 100 years. Boundary defied, retaliation protocol engaged, soldiers in black uniforms rushed through the halls. Generals who had trained their entire lives for this moment stood from their chairs. Earth had been patient. Earth had been silent, but Earth had never forgotten. In orbit above Earth, hidden fleets stirred. Thousands of ships rose from shadow. Weapons hummed alive like predators ready to strike. They had been waiting for this trespass. They had been waiting for one mistake. But the galaxy did not know that yet. Varen's ship crossed the line. The beacon flickered as the shadow of the warship swallowed it. "There," Varen declared, "the great line of Earth." "Broken!" His crew did not cheer. Their hands trembled on the consoles. Some whispered prayers to gods they had long abandoned. Suddenly the beacon pulsed. A deep hum filled the void. Then it sent a signal, a single code, spreading across every relay in space. Varen frowned. "What is that noise?" The captain swallowed. "It's a transmission, Commander. It's saying, 'Vengeance has been triggered.'" Varen's laughter died in his throat. In the distance, stars seemed to flicker one by one, like fire waking in the dark, but they were not stars. They were ships, human ships, black and sharp, sliding out from cloak and shadow. The crew froze, terror striking their bones. Varen stared wide-eyed at the growing swarm. How many are there?" The captain's voice cracked. "Too many, Commander." "Far too many?" Varen clenched his jaw. Pride fighting fear. "Send word to the fleet. Tell them the humans are awake." But no signal left the ship. The humans had already cut the lines. Varen whispered to himself, almost in disbelief. All this time, they were waiting in the silence of space. The first human ship powered its main cannon. Its light bathed the Thurian vessel in a red glow. The line had been defied, and Earth had answered to the galaxy. It would be the beginning of a storm. To the Thurians, it was the end of their pride. And to Earth, it was simply justice, for humanity had promised. And humanity never broke its promise. The vengeance of Earth had begun. The awakening of Earth's Varen's battleship hung frozen in the black. The red glow of the human cannon spilling across its hull. The crew stared at the light as if it were the eye of death itself for centuries. The Thurian Dominion had conquered weaker worlds without resistance. They thought every warning was a bluff, every threat an empty voice, but here now, the silence of space was filled with the hum of something older, colder, and far deadlier. "Commander," the captain whispered. They are locking onto us." Varen clenched his fists, sweat beading on his scaled skin. "Raise shields, prepare weapons if humans want war. Then let them taste Thurian fire." The gunners obeyed, their claws shaking as they armed the cannons. Green energy flared across the ship's sides, yet none of them could meet the gaze of the human fleet forming around them. The humans did not rush. They moved with calm precision. As if every second was already planned, their ship slid into a formation like blades. "Their engines leaving ghostly trails in the void, Commander," another officer said, his voice unsteady. "There are more coming, hundreds, thousands. They are surrounding us." Varen's pride faltered, but he refused to show fear. "Signal the rest of the fleet. We will not bow to an old legend." But when the signal was sent, no reply came. The communications were dead. The humans had cut them off. Then, a voice broke into the ship's channel. Calm, cold, and unmistakably human. "You have crossed the line of Earth," the voice said, each word slow and heavy. "You were warned, you were told, and still you defied. Now you face the consequence." Varen's jaw tightened. He hissed, "Cowards, show yourselves on the screen." One human ship moved closer, its hull black as night, its design unlike any Thurian had ever seen. It bore no colors, no emblems, only the symbol of a line carved into its side. The voice returned. "Commander of the Thurian ship, you have one chance. Surrender your vessel, abandon your claim, and crawl back to your dominion or be destroyed where you stand." The bridge fell silent, every officer waiting for Varen's answer. Varen's pride flared again. "I will not kneel to humans. Fire all weapons." Green bolts shot into the void, streaking toward the human ship. For a heartbeat, the Thurian crew dared to hope. But then, with impossible speed, the human vessel shifted, weaving through the blasts as if it knew where they would land before they were fired. A single red beam fired in reply. It cut through the Thurian shields like paper, tearing across the side of the battleship. Alarms screamed. Fire erupted in the lower decks. The crew panicked. "Commander, shields are gone." "Weapons failing!" Varen roared in rage. But deep inside, fear took root. The human voice returned, colder than before. "This is mercy. You will not receive it twice." Varen's claws trembled. His pride battled his survival instinct, and for the first time, he saw what the galaxy had always whispered. Humans were not bluff. Humans were the storm. But before he could respond, the sensors lit up. More human ships emerging from shadow. Not just warships, but carriers, dreadnoughts, and strange, hulking vessels that seemed to drink the light around them. The captain whispered, "Commander, this is not a fleet. This is an armada. They were waiting all along, waiting for one fool to cross." Varen's heart sank, but still, his pride spat fire. We will not beg." Then the humans acted, not with full force, but with precision. They struck the engines, the weapons, disabling the ship, tearing away every defense until the mighty Thurian battleship drifted powerless in the dark. Varen staggered, his pride broken. Why not finish us?" The voice returned. "Because you will be our messenger. Go back, tell your warlords, tell your dominion, that Earth remembers, Earth waits. And if the line is crossed again, the vengeance will not stop at one ship. It will burn empires." Varen collapsed into his chair, silence filling the bridge. The human fleet turned, vanishing into shadow as quickly as it had appeared, leaving the Thurian vessel crippled but alive. The crew sat in stunned terror, no cheers, no relief, only the weight of what they had witnessed. Varen whispered, "They were never gone." They were only waiting, and across the galaxy, the signal of the beacon still echoed, carried to every corner of space. A reminder carved into the stars, defy this line, and trigger Earth's vengeance. The galaxy trembled once more. The pride of the Thurian warlords, Varen's broken battleship, limped back to Thurian space. Sparks spilling from its hull, engines half dead. The once mighty vessel reduced to a drifting wreck, the warlords gathered in the high chamber. A ring of stone and fire where decisions of conquest were made. Their armor glistened, their claws tapped impatiently on the stone table, and their eyes burned with scorn as Varen was dragged before them. "You returned in shame," one warlord hissed, his voice like a blade. "Our proud ship crippled, our warriors humiliated, all because of human myths." Varen dropped to one knee, his pride shattered but his words urgent. "My lords, these are not myths. The humans are awake. They are waiting beyond that line. Thousands of ships, weapons beyond anything we know. They cut us down as if we were insects." The chamber erupted in laughter. Cruel and sharp, another warlord leaned forward. "You expect us to believe that an old race of farmers and wanderers now hides a fleet larger than the Dominion itself? Lies, excuses from a coward who fled." Varen's voice cracked. "I saw them, I swear it. They spared us only to send a message. If we cross again, they will not stop at one ship. They will burn us all," the warlords jeered, their pride too great to bend. "The galaxy trembles at our name," one roared. "Do you think we will bow to humans, to whispers and warnings carved on old beacons? No, we will erase them. We will tear down this so-called line, and we will show the galaxy that Thurian power bows to none." Varen's claws dug into the stone, his voice desperate. "If you cross, you doom us all, I beg you. Listen." But his words were drowned in the roar of the chamber. War chants rising, the warlords pounding the table, their pride blinding them to the storm waiting in the dark. Orders were given, fleets assembled, thousands of Thurian ships lined the docks, their engines blazing, their banners of conquest raised high. The galaxy watched in silence, whispers spreading across star systems. The Thurians were preparing to march on Earth's boundary. But far away, on Earth itself, humanity had already seen the signs. In bunkers deep beneath the oceans, human generals studied the Thurian movements. Their voices calm, their faces cold. "They are coming," one general said, his hand sliding over the holographic map. "The Thurians will test us. They will not stop with one ship. They will bring their full might." An older officer, scars running across his cheek, nodded. "We knew this day would come. That is why the line was drawn. That is why we built in silence. Now the galaxy will see what Earth has prepared in orbit above Earth." Massive carriers stirred, their hulls bristling with weapons hidden for centuries. Drones launched into the void like swarms of silver insects. And deep in forgotten shipyards, leviathans of steel powered awake. Dreadnoughts older than any living commander, but maintained as if the war ended yesterday. The humans had not only waited, they had planned. Every system, every weapon, every soldier ready. "When they cross again," the general said, "we strike not just to defend but to remind the galaxy. Earth does not forgive." Meanwhile, in neutral sectors, smaller species whispered in fear. Old allies of humanity remembered ancient wars. They remembered the times humans had fought beside them, bleeding when others fled on one distant world. A council of refugees spoke in hushed voices. "If the Thurians provoke Earth, they provoke all of us," an elder said. "For when humans rise, they do not rise alone back in Thurian space." Varen sat in chains, his warnings ignored. He stared through the bars of his cell at the endless stars and whispered to himself, "You fools! You do not know what you awaken." And on the edge of the forbidden line, the beacons pulsed brighter, as if sensing the coming storm. Each one glowing with the same carved words, "Defy this line," and "Trigger Earth's vengeance." The galaxy held its breath. The Thurian fleets began their march, their engines roaring, their weapons primed, their pride leading them to a boundary they did not understand. And in the silence beyond, humanity waited, the storm ready to break. The clash at the boundary, the Thurian armada, was a sight meant to terrify. Thousands of warships stretching across the stars, their formation like a blade pointed at Earth. Their warlords roared in pride, certain of their strength. Varen, still locked in his cell, whispered in despair, "You fools! You will awaken the storm." The Thurian fleets reached the edge of the boundary. The beacons pulsed as if warning them one last time. A warlord sneered from the bridge of his flagship. "Behold the cursed line of Earth, today it falls." The fleet pushed forward. Ships crossing one by one, the silence of space deepened. Every beacon sent the same signal, the same ancient code. Boundary defied. Retaliation protocol engaged. Then it began. From the void itself, human ships emerged, not in hundreds, but in tens of thousands cloaked leviathans. Carriers larger than cities, dreadnoughts bristling with weapons that glowed like suns. Their engines silent, their movement precise. The Thurian crews froze, fear gripping their hearts. A single human voice spread across every channel, calm and cold. Thurian Dominion, you were warned. You defied the line. Now you face Earth's vengeance, before the Thurians could react. The first strike came. Human warships unleashed beams of red and white fire, each blast cutting through shields as if they were smoke. Thurian vessels erupted in flames, shattered in seconds. The Thurian warlords shouted orders. Return fire! All cannons, green bolts filled the void. But the humans moved like shadows, weaving through, their ships predicting every shot, their weapons striking with surgical precision. One Thurian captain gasped. They know our moves before we make them, another whispered. No, they are reading us, as if they have fought this war 1,000 times already, and in truth, humanity had, for centuries, they had trained against simulations of every empire, studied every tactic, every formation, every weapon. The line was not just a warning, it was a trap carefully prepared for the moment prideful fools would test it. Thurian ships exploded one after another. Entire squadrons wiped out before they could fire a second volley. In the chaos, a human dreadnought appeared, its size dwarfing even the largest Thurian vessel. Its hull bore scars of old wars. Yet it moved with deadly grace, its cannons glowing. The warlord flagship fired everything at it, desperate to prove their might. Green energy slammed into the dreadnought, but the human shields absorbed it all. Then with one pulse, the dreadnought fired. The warlord's ship split in two, burning into silence. The remaining Thurian crews screamed in panic. Some tried to flee, engines blazing. But the humans were already there, cutting off escape, dragging ships into gravity traps, disabling them one by one. Varen watched the battle unfold on a tiny screen in his cell, tears burning in his eyes, not for sorrow, but for the bitter truth. I warned them, and they did not listen. The Thurian fleet crumbled. Once proud armada, now nothing but wreckage floating in the void. But the humans did not kill them all. Many ships were disabled, left adrift, their crews alive but broken. The human voice returned, its tone like iron. You are spared, so you may speak. Carry this message back to your dominion. Earth does not seek war, but Earth does not forgive trespass. If you cross the line again, your dominion will cease to exist across the galaxy. Signals of the battle spread, recordings of Thurian ships burning, images of human war machines awakening, whispers carried in every market, every council hall. The humans are not gone, the smaller species said in awe. They waited, they watched, and now they strike like gods of war. Fear turned to hope for some, for those oppressed by the Thurians. The sight of the armada broken lit fires in their hearts. And on Earth, in the command halls deep under stone and sea, generals watched the aftermath in silence. One of them spoke softly. They tested the line. And we reminded them, another nodded. This was only a warning, but the galaxy will remember. Earth is not prey. Varen sat alone in chains, staring at the stars, his voice a whisper. The Dominion will not stop. Their pride will drive them again, and when they return, humanity will end them. The beacons pulsed brighter than ever, silent guardians on the edge of soul, their carved words now no longer just a warning, but a truth carved into history. Defy this line, and trigger Earth's vengeance. The galaxy would never forget what it saw at the boundary. The vengeance remembered. The Thurian Dominion shook with rage. Their warlords screamed in fury as reports flooded their chambers. Thousands of ships lost, fleets destroyed, their proud armada reduced to wreckage in the void. But even louder than their rage was their shame, for the galaxy had seen it. Every empire, every council, every small world under Thurian rule had witnessed the fall of their great fleet. Warlords argued, their voices rising. We must rebuild and strike again, one roared. Humans cannot stand against us forever. Another slammed his claw into the table. Fool, they did not even fight us with full strength. They toyed with us. They spared us to humiliate us, do you not see? If we march again, they will erase us, but pride is a poison. And many warlords could not swallow it. "We are Thurian, conquerors of 100 worlds," one snarled. "We will not bow to humans," their council fractured, some calling for vengeance, others trembling in fear in the prisons. Varen listened to their madness, his voice a whisper. "You will lead us all to ash. You cannot defeat them. You cannot understand them." Meanwhile, across the galaxy, smaller species celebrated in silence. Oppressed worlds lifted their heads, whispers spread in hidden places. "The Thurians can bleed," they said, and the humans showed us how old allies of Earth stirred from hiding, remembering the times humans had bled beside them, remembering promises long unspoken. In the Neutral Council, leaders debated in fear. If the humans rise again, will they conquer as the Thurians did? One asked. An elder, eyes heavy with memory, shook his head. "No, humans are not conquerors. They are defenders, but beware. When they are provoked, their wrath is endless. I fought beside them once. I know what they are on Earth. Deep beneath steel mountains, generals spoke in calm voices. The Thurians will not stop," one said. "Their pride will drive them to test us again." Another general leaned forward. "Then we must make our warning louder, not just to them, but to the entire galaxy, so none may mistake our patience for weakness." In orbit above Earth, the Armada returned. Thousands of human ships lined the stars, their weapons silent but ready, their presence alone enough to make the void tremble. Then the beacons lit again, brighter than before. Their signals carried not just across the Sol system, but across every channel in the galaxy. A human voice spoke, not calm this time, but heavy with power. "This is Earth. We do not seek war. We do not seek conquest, but hear our words. The line is sacred. It marks the blood of every soldier who fell to defend our home. If you cross it, you awaken not just our ships, not just our weapons, but the vengeance of humanity itself. And humanity does not forgive," the message echoed in every corner of space. In the chambers of warlords, in the halls of councils, in the ears of slaves and rulers alike, the Thurians fell silent. Their pride burning, but their fear greater. They had seen the storm and survived it. But they knew next time there would be no mercy. Varen sat in his cell, a bitter smile touching his face. Perhaps now they will listen. Perhaps now the galaxy will finally understand. And across the stars, oppressed species whispered a new hope. "The humans have returned," they said. "The guardians of the line, the avengers of the forgotten. The storm that rises when pride defies them." The galaxy trembled, not just in fear, but in respect, for Earth had spoken. And Earth had kept its promise, defy this line, and trigger Earth's vengeance, and the galaxy knew. It was not just a warning, it was law, carved in fire and blood. The warlords who laughed now whispered in fear. The empires that mocked now watched in silence. And the smaller worlds prayed that when the storm rose again, it would rise for them, not against them in the end. The line of Earth was not just a border. It was a reminder that humanity was patient. Humanity was kind, but when defied, humanity was wrath. And the stars would never forget it.